Season Talk, where every season is a lesson. I'm Shirley, your host, a nurse, mentor, speaker, and woman of faith. On this platform, we speak real life, emotions, mindset, healing, faith, and everything in between. And along with seasons, I am honored to have not only a special guest, but my friend. How long we been friends?
Um, almost 20 years.
A long time.
A long time.
What I appreciate about this friendship is that we can go years. And I'm talking about 3, 4, 5. Not no one. 5 years. And when we see each other, it's like we never missed a beat.
That's right.
Never missed a beat. Today's topic, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? Is how you handle yourself in moments where we're dealing with triggers, we're dealing with decisions that don't go the way that we want it to go, whether it's in family, work, personal goals that you're trying to meet. You want to chime in?
Yeah, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shanica, and as Shirley stated, we have been
Yes.
friends for over 20 years.
And forgive me, I didn't introduce you.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what friends. That's what
Yes,
we do, right?
yes.
That's what we do, right?
Yes.
And no problem.
Yes.
And yeah, and we spend years not even talking, and we pick right back up like we just spoke last month.
Yeah.
I'm a licensed Maryland realtor,
Yes.
life insurance agent, and I'm a single parent of one daughter. When it comes to emotional intelligence, you have to know how to control different hats, and I wear a lot of different hats.
Yes.
Like I said, I own business, I have a career, and I have a daughter, and I have other relationships. And sometimes it is hard, Shirley, to control different emotions. And as I was telling Shirley before we went live, I try to take deep breath in, and I do affirmations that really helps with a lot of things, because when you're dealing with the world, um, it can trigger some things. So you want to make sure you're in control of your emotions in all different types of areas. And I try to do that with prayer, meditation, and like I said, affirmations. So you want to make sure you control all of emotions. This can be hard because we are human, and that's one thing we have to
Definitely.
understand. No one is wrong if they react on a certain emotion, but sometimes you do want to take a step back, because you don't want to make a short-term decision that's going to affect you long-term because of emotion that you make.
Yes. And as I was researching this topic, I discovered that there are 5 pillars to emotional
Oh,
intelligence:
really?
self awareness,
Mm-hmm.
self regulation, motivation, empathy, social skills, and boundaries. And to kind of piggyback off when we begin to talk about self awareness, one thing that I realize is that emotional intelligence, how you act as a adult, stems from childhood.
Yeah.
And this has been like a big area for me because, I didn't receive, my emotional needs
Yeah.
wasn't met. And I asked you that too before, like, do
Yeah.
you think that your childhood helped you to become self-aware of, why am I feeling like this? Um, why do I feel rejected? And that's one of the biggest part of me in my journey, and I'm thankful that I'm growing through
Yes.
it. But self-awareness is where you first start. That's why I put that as the top one, because when we are self-aware, that's when you begin to manage your emotions.
Yeah, I remember looking at something. It was the older lady. I think she was
Mhm.
in Jamaica,
Mhm.
and she was saying the best cure for sickness is prevention. So with self awareness, when you are aware of certain things, you can prevent something negative from happening that you don't want to happen. And we talked about prior to this podcast going live. Shirley asked you about my childhood. And my mom, to this day, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. Um, and my dad passed when I was 4. So my mom always instilled in me positivity. And and as Shirley know, when I'm around people, it's like you always smiling, you always happy because I grew up in a loving, caring home, and I
Mhm.
pass that on to my daughter. So when people see her, they're like, "Oh, your daughter is so respectful." She because it starts at home.
Yes.
So we have to make sure class is always in session
Yep.
when it comes to our kids, to our environment, to our family. So when people see us, that's the first impression they're going to get. So we got to be aware of what we're doing around people because that's going to be a reflection on us. And as I say, the first time somebody see you, that's what they look at. That's
Yep.
how they judge you. So you want to be aware of the things that you do. And like I said, when I grew up, my mom always positive, always loving, to this day always caring. So I passed that trait on to my daughter, and sometimes, I try to catch myself little things. No one's perfect. No one,
Right.
you would never find a perfect person, but you still want to be aware of certain things that you're doing, especially when you're around your kids and your family.
And that's one of the things that I also mentioned earlier that I have always appreciated about you. And which I know from the previous transparency, no sugarcoating on here. I used to be a emotional wreck. And this was when I call her. It's like I need to be ready for the truth because she's not
Yeah,
going to pacify me.
right.
She's going to tell me, what it is, and that's one thing that I appreciate about you because she was telling me, "Girl, you why are you worrying about that?
Yeah,
You have a heart of gold. Why are you pouring it this way?" When it's not being reciprocated,
right.
and so that you are actually part of my growth,
Oh,
a portion of my growth.
thank you,
So
Shirley. I
I do
appreciate that.
appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And let's move on to self regulation. So, self regulation, I wrote a question. How can I manage my reaction? Or do I always act out of emotion? And I'm going to chime in right here.
Mm,
My biggest struggle is work.
mm.
I'm a whole lot better, but it's like I see my assignment, and instead of me going to have a healthy conversation, oh no, she gonna change this assignment. I'm not taking care of all these, But now, um, I am able to go say, hey, this assignment is a little heavy. Can we, rearrange? Yes or no. And even sometimes when you get the no, when you
Yeah.
don't get the answer or the result that you want, you still have to be in charge of your emotions. Now, do I get it right every single time? Nope. But that's what it's about, lesson and growing. And I'm noticing that I'm responding a little better than I used to.
When I think about that, I think about a lot of people want to be in control of things.
Mm-hmm.
Shirley, and it's good to get somebody on the outside to give you some input because we so used to our way, so we can't regulate that our control that we want to have control of. So we sometimes you need someone to come in from the outside that's blindsided from everything and let you know what's going on. And then we so used to wanting our way,
Yes.
and then a lot of time our way doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have. And when you lose control of something, I know in my for me, when I start losing control of something, I feel weak, and it's not a sign of feeling weak. It's we have to understand sometimes we need somebody else to come in to help us, and we can't be in control of everything. You can't do everything on your own, and that's one thing, especially me being a single mom. When you
Mm.
raised, and my mom was a single mom for a long time, but
Yeah.
I seen her doing so much for herself, and that passed
Mm-hmm.
on to me and my sister.
Yeah.
So it's hard, especially I was in a relationship, and I was doing so much, and he was like, "Hey, I got it. Hey, I got it. Let me do it. I got it." But I was so used to being in control,
Yeah.
doing things for myself, and we get caught up
Yeah.
sometime that way.
And when we think about regulation, it's the take a minute, and we've been mentioning
Yeah.
this earlier.
Hmm.
Breathe. Like she mentioned, weakness is not a bad thing
Right.
because what the word tell us, your power is made perfect in weakness.
Right.
And so it's not a
Right.
bad thing to feel weak, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why am I feeling like this?
Right.
What can I do to help me regulate this emotion better?
Right.
I do a lot of, and this is one thing I do now when we're Shirley, shut up. Don't say that. That's one of the things that's been working
Yeah.
for me, because you really
Yeah.
have to, you can't be in control, but I say this all the time, you can be in control of how you respond.
That's the key.
Regulation.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we can't control the external, but we got to learn how to control the internal.
Right.
So that's the key.
Yeah. The next one, let's chime into motivation. What motivates you? What drives you? And when I was looking, researching, it said, is it peace? Is it purpose? The one that I used to be guilty of, is it people pleasing or pain? And I was like, wait a minute, people pleasing or pain? Believe it or not, people can be motivated by that, feeling needed, feeling validated.
Right.
Especially, again, goes back to that childhood trauma.
Right.
If you have unmet needs, I find, for me as a grown woman, I used to be seeking those things in areas and people that, it keeps you stuck, it keeps you bound, it keeps you heavy, it keeps you not having emotional intelligence.
Right. And we talked before we went live. I told Shirley in the morning, I do my daily affirmations. I have affirmation maybe like every hour and an hour alert I had put on my phone.
I'm gonna do that.
And it works. And then also in my prayer time in the morning.
For sure.
I don't pick up my phone. I don't go to social media. I don't turn on TV. I don't do any of that. I spend an hour praying. I meditate, and then I will work out and then do my affirmations, whatever alert come on that time. And also, when it comes to motivation, me being a professional person and in my career, I go to my why. What you got to look at, you got to figure out what is your why if you want to feel motivated. So my why is my daughter. So everything I do for her.
Amen.
So she motivates me to be a better person. She motivates me to be disciplined. She motivates me to be consistent in things that I'm doing, because in my profession I know I have to talk to clients, I have to meet with clients, and different things I have to do. And sometimes I don't feel like it, but then I look at my why, look at my daughter. Physically, even working out, exercising, what is my why? I know I want to be healthy. I'm in my 40s. I know I'm not getting no younger, so my why is I want to live a long, healthy life. So
you hit
to
something
be
right
motivated,
there.
you got to have a why for you to do what you have to do.
You hit something right there, your why. And also, even down to your eating habits, because I know when I get stressed, I eat for comfort.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that's a part of
Yeah.
emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Am I going to keep grabbing this was bad for my body because I'm going through something? And like I said, I'm not always there, but my eating habits are definitely improving. So that was a good point you mentioned there. Next is empathy. Can I feel what others feel without making it about me? Holding space for a friend or someone, without fixing or judging. That one right there.
That's deep.
Because we project a lot.
Yeah.
We project a lot.
Yeah.
And also, it's how sometimes, and I had to discipline myself with this, being careful of my delivery, because you can deliver the message, meaning one thing, but if somebody may perceive it another way. So that's what I'm working on. Not making it about me. Nothing grinds my gears is when I'm going to someone about a problem.
Right.
I remember, girl, I used to do, and what you should do, and I did this, and I'm like,
right. It's about me. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What about you?
Empathy is very important.
Yes.
Especially when you're building relationships with people, and we all heard it, the saying, we have two ears and one mouth. You got to listen more than you have to talk. And when someone's bringing you that, even when I'm giving that to people, I try to listen. Not gonna say all the time. I'm not perfect.
Right.
Because sometimes I always want to cut in the middle, but you got to show that, because when you give people stuff, they 9 out of 10 they're going to give it back to you.
Yep.
So you want to show that, and then when you show that to people, they know you genuinely care.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very important. We don't want to make it all the time about ourselves. So I'm coming with you with a situation like listen more and talk less. And some people have, and I do. We're not perfect, but we want to make sure we strive to do that, because we want to show people that.
And I have expressed that too. And what we have to be reminded is that most of the time when a person is coming to you, they just want you to listen. They might just want just some words of encouragement. And sometimes we miss out opportunity to help someone be free.
Yeah.
And it's fun also too, even when I would vet to, like for example, I'm going to use you.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I would vet to you about my situation, you always listen, but also you have to be a receiver.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to receive the message, especially if the person that you are confiding in, you have a good foundation with them. You know, this person isn't going to tell me anything wrong. This person cares about me. So, and I also like how I said it also, like, you're not very emotional. Like, meaning, like, you don't operate off your emotions. Like, you be talking to her, she just like, okay, well.
Right.
She hit the, oh, yeah, wow. And I be like, dang, she don't sound, but I appreciate that you not being, too emotional, which helped me notice, like, you really do well with, emotional intelligence.
And then, thank you so much. But another thing is that I'd rather take on what you have going on and put it on me, and you won't even know that I feel that way, because the way how you want, I want to still be honest with you, but I don't want to leave you in a funk than what you came in, because that's not what you called me for.
Right.
So sometimes when people call me and they ask, I'm like, oh, okay, but I'm going to give it to you straight and let you know, but at the same time, I don't want you to leave in the way you came in. Yeah. So, even though I may feel some kind of way, but like they say, silence is golden. But I'm going to say, okay, this is what you need to know, but I'm not going to leave you in a funk than when you came in to talk to me.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get that energy from me, because we already get that energy in the world, so I'm not going to get that from somebody I care about. So we definitely don't want that, because your energy and your words are so powerful, and people don't understand that.
Words,
like I say, where
so
your focus
powerful.
go, your energies go. So you want to make sure your energy is going in a way that's going to help someone, and not crush their spirit. You definitely want to do that. So
that's
I definitely
so
try to be that person to my friends.
Yeah. And then also, as we kind of chimes into the next one, is social skills and boundaries, because even with emotional intelligence, you do have to have, boundaries.
Very
and
important.
the question that I had here, do I communicate clearly, set boundaries, bold, meaningful connections, having no with grace, saying no with grace.
Right.
Or having a hard conversation.
Yeah.
One thing I'm learning this season in my life, I have had a couple of hard conversations. They're needed. And I'm also putting my own boundaries in place, what I'm trying to say in reference to how I communicate with other people. When I know, like, my friends or my family or someone is going through a whole bunch their own self, I'm very mindful not to dump my stuff, onto them.
Right.
But, I'm also using the same for myself.
Right.
And what I do is, I won't answer the phone.
Right.
I mean,
boundaries.
You got to have boundaries. If I'm doing something at a certain time for myself, something that I need for myself, like I had a terrible habit. I could be reading my Bible and that phone will ring. And according to the person it is, it's like, and God forgive me, but you be looking at the phone like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And I would pick it up and I said, no, I have to stop, because especially being like a mentor and women in
Mhm.
leadership,
Mhm.
you have to, pour into yourself so
Mhm.
that you can pour
Mhm.
into others.
Mhm.
If I'm constantly emptying my cup and pouring and pouring and
Mm.
pouring and not taking
You
time
empty.
to fill me, you're
Mhm.
empty.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm also careful now, and no offense, but I can't be pouring into cups with holes. I'm
That's
just
deep.
saying, you
That's
you
deep.
can't,
That's deep right there.
you can't,
Yeah.
you know.
And I would say about boundaries, oh man, it's very, very important. It's very important. With me, and I was telling Shirley about a previous relationship, I tend to go, and it's okay to go with your heart sometimes,
Yeah,
but I tend to go with my heart. In my head, I tend to go with my emotions, not the principles of things.
mhm,
We get so emotional and we worry about what someone is going to say about us or how they're going to feel,
mhm,
but the principle is, no, this is what you need to do for yourself,
mhm.
and we don't want to snooze on taking care of ourselves and taking care of
Yes.
someone else. Prime example: when you get on the plane, what's the first thing they tell you to do if something's going on? Put on your mask first before you
Yep.
put on the child mask.
Yep.
And I had to relay that example to someone. Is that, look, I have to help me before
Yep.
I can help you. And then a lot of people be so selfish when you say no, or it's like, no, I can't do it. Well, why
Yeah.
you can't? Because they so used to you doing it. But as you get, every day I pray, I say, God, give me
Yeah.
wisdom and discernment.
Yeah. Oh,
When
that
you
part.
get discernment,
That part.
you start realizing a lot of things in your life that you have to take care of you. I can't take care of
Girl, you
you.
preaching.
You have
Yeah.
to, Shirley. You
Yeah.
have to take care of you, and it's okay to set boundaries, because people feel as if they don't, they're gonna lose somebody. If you lose and they wasn't meant to be in your life at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
It was
And it
family, that
hurts
was
though.
friends. It does
Yeah.
hurt, but peace is
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
scripture I say every day, Romans 12 and 12, be joyful in hope, and be
Yeah.
patient in affliction, and be faithfulness in prayer. And you
Yeah.
have to, but we so used to doing for people, and we worried about what people are going to say. And I have to tell myself, it's more principle than emotion. I got to think about the logic part of things,
Yeah.
and people, they so used to you doing, but you have to, just remember that, guys, when you get on
Yeah.
the plane, think. I know we don't pay attention. When they waving them flags, we don't pay attention. They waving them cards.
Yes.
But if something
Yes.
happened, they tell you, put on
Yes.
your mask first,
Yeah.
then you put on the child mask. And you
Yeah.
are like, what? But we have to help ourselves
Yes.
before we can help someone. Like Shirley just made a prime example. I'm keep pouring in you, but it's holes in the cup. So I'm pouring all this into you, and then you're not receiving it, and all of what I'm giving you is going out for waste. So
Yeah, you have to receive it.
yeah.
Especially like I said, the person that in my prayer is that like you said, wisdom and discernment.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Why pour into your? Why even tell your business or pour your heart into spaces where they're not safe?
Right.
That's on you. And so again, emotional intelligence is a foundation that builds who you are.
Right.
How you speak, how you show up, how you move,
Mm-hmm.
even how you dress sometimes. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
How you dress,
Yeah.
Not to
That's
offend
true.
anyone, but
That's true.
just think about those
That's true.
things.
That's true.
Your aura, how you present yourself,
Yeah.
that matters too.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. So we're about to end. You got anything else you wanna
No,
add?
this was great. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And
Thank you.
definitely, no one's perfect, guys. We all go through things. That's life. Life, like they say,
Yeah.
life be life.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure. What you about to
No,
say?
no.
Sharon?
Before we end, I want to add this: like emotional intelligence too, handling your business.
Oh.
I gotta say this:
Mm.
life insurance.
Mm. Mm.
It's important.
Yeah.
Nothing grinds my gears, and I'm just gonna say it because I have been.
I
I've
love
been
the
through
plug.
it.
I love the plug, y'all. That's a plug.
Listen, I have been through it. I had to bury a family member, with no life insurance. I have had friends who had to bury, loved ones with no life insurance. I had family members who had to bury, people with no life insurance. We should have life insurance. Emotional intelligence. You leave your family behind.
Mm.
Not only they're struggling because they miss you and you're not here anymore, but then they're drained also emotionally, financially, because they got to come up with the money to have the dinner, to pay for your burial, whatever, or they got to get the money together to buy the casket, etc., etc.
And this is a true story, and you brought it up. So my nephew, mom, 2024, she
Mhm.
reaches out to
Mhm.
me. This
Mhm.
is the honest God truth. Maybe around like November, October, and she like, hey, Shanika, I want to get life insurance for me and my nephew and his brother. I'm like, cool, okay. So we ran some quotes for her, and it was very cheap because she was in her 30s. They, he's 17, whatever. Lied to you not, you guys. 2 months later, she died. She died in February. I don't know if I told you my nephew was living with me. His mom died.
Oh wow,
We never got the policy. She never got insured. She never got covered.
that's real life.
You know, so and I when people call me about getting life insurance, it's not they think negative. Oh, they just want my money. No, you want to have enough life insurance to cover you and your family. Something
Yeah,
with, especially if you're the primary care provider for your
yeah,
family.
yeah,
They already grieving, so you don't want them
yeah,
grieve financially. How they going to bury you? How they going to pay for bills? How they
yeah,
going if they're going to keep the house? So that's very important. I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah. Because it
So
needs to be talked about.
yeah, and
Yeah,
she died like 3 months later. We never
yeah,
got the policy on her.
yeah. So real
So
quick, drop your Instagram.
oh yeah, my Instagram is
Mhm.
shanika.jones underscore realtor. And that's for both Instagram and Facebook.
Facebook.
Yep.
Okay. So contact her if you need some life insurance. And so we're going to end you with, again, every season is a lesson. Grow through it, not just go through it. And our affirmation to close is, I give myself permission to feel, but I am no longer controlled by feelings. I choose clarity, peace, and wisdom in this season. Thank you for listening. Bye.